Welcome to the 5-Minute Nerd episode 25, where we break down everything nerd culture into 5-minute segments. In our last 2 episodes of 5-Minute Nerd, we did an exploration of the Blade Runner universe. We thought we would round out our look at dystopian cyberpunk by diving into Cyberpunk 2077, the futuristic RPG developed by CD Projekt Red, and exploring its deep roots in the science fiction genre. Cyberpunk 2077 is much more than just a game. It's a reflection of decades of cyberpunk literature, films, and concepts that have shaped the way we see the future. Let's start with the basics of Cyberpunk 2077. The game is set in Night City, a sprawling dystopian metropolis in the Free State of Northern California. The year is 2077, and the world is run by megacorporations, where cybernetic enhancements are commonplace, and technology rules all. Players take on the role of V, a mercenary in search of a one-of-a-kind implant that grants immortality. The game's narrative is packed with intense, action-driven gameplay, and the city itself is full of dynamic characters, dangerous missions, and endless intrigue. But Cyberpunk 2077 didn't just come out of nowhere. It's built upon decades of sci-fi storytelling and cyberpunk culture. The origins of cyberpunk. Cyberpunk as a genre emerged in the 1980s with writers like William Gibson and Philip K. Dick creating futuristic worlds where technology, corporations, and dystopian societies were central themes. Gibson's Neuromancer, published in 1984, is often seen as one of the key works of cyberpunk fiction, with its gritty depiction of a high-tech future where human bodies are modified and cyberspace is a digital battleground. Another huge influence is Philip K. Dick's Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, published in 1968, which was the basis for the Blade Runner film, widely regarded as one of the most iconic representations of cyberpunk on the big screen. The theme of blurred lines between humans and machines, as well as the gritty, neon-lit cityscape, became central to the genre's aesthetic. Cyberpunk's aesthetic is defined by high-tech, low-life. It's a world where the rich live in luxury and the poor struggle to survive, all while being surrounded by cutting-edge technology. The immediate inspiration for Cyberpunk 2077 comes from the tabletop RPG Cyberpunk 2020, created by Mike Pondsmith in 1988. Cyberpunk 2020 allowed players to explore the futuristic world of Night City and tackle corporate corruption, crime, and cybernetic augmentation. Cyberpunk 2077 carries on this legacy, expanding on Night City's lore, characters, and themes. In the game, Night City is more than just a setting, it's a living, breathing character in itself. The towering megabuildings, neon-soaked streets, and diverse districts give players an immersive experience of life in a cyberpunk dystopia. Let's talk about some of the key themes in Cyberpunk 2077 that resonate with its sci-fi roots. First, transhumanism. At its core, Cyberpunk 2077 asks the question, how far can we push human enhancement before we lose what makes us human? From cybernetic implants that enhance physical and mental abilities to full-body modifications, the game explores the limits of human evolution. Second, corporate control. Another classic cyberpunk theme is the role of corporations. In the world of Cyberpunk 2077, megacorporations have more power than governments, controlling nearly every aspect of life. This reflects modern-day concerns about the influence of big tech companies and capitalism on society. Lastly, free will versus technology. One of the central struggles in the game is V's quest for identity and autonomy. With the presence of Johnny Silverhand, played by Keanu Reeves, in V's mind there's a constant battle between man and machine, and the question of who is really in control. The game's launch was marred by technical issues, leaving many fans that had waited for the game disappointed. Despite this, its ambitious storytelling, world-building, and dedication to the cyberpunk genre have made it an important cultural touchstone. CD Projekt Red has continued to update the game and address its flaws, and the recent expansions have shown the game's true potential. As a fan of the genre, I am certainly rooting for their success. As a fan of the game, or even just someone curious about where it all comes from, it's important to recognize that Cyberpunk 2077 isn't just a game. It's part of a broader conversation about the future of technology, society, and what it means to be human. So whether you're cruising through Night City on your next mission or rereading Neuromancer, it's clear that Cyberpunk is here to stay, and Cyberpunk 2077 is a crucial part of that legacy. Until next time, when we'll dive into another nerd culture favorite, keep nerding out. If there are parts of the nerd universe that you would like for us to cover here at 5 Minute Nerd, leave us a note in the comments. To keep getting nerd culture broken down in 5 minutes, don't forget to like and subscribe.